Pros and cons of living in small towns in rural Oklahoma. Coming right up. Hey everybody, Stacy Hesser here, favorite realtor in all of southern Oklahoma. And today we're going to be talking about pros and cons of living in small towns in rural Oklahoma. So I live just outside of Ardmore, which has a population of about just shy of 30,000 people. There are several small towns that are just outside of Ardmore and beyond that have populations of about 5,000 people or less. Life gets interesting when you're in those smaller towns. The first thing's probably kind of obvious. I mean, you're going to know all of your neighbors and your neighbors are going to know you. So small town gossip is definitely alive and well here. Everybody's just kind of knowing everything. And even though you may not actually know your neighbor, I guarantee you they have heard something or know something about you. Even where we're at, I've been super surprised with what like the 5 degrees. It's like more like 3 degrees of separation, and just hearing back, oh, you're the people that do this or whatever, whether it's, our side by side or shooting or anything like that. So yeah, small town chatter. This is going to sound a little weird, but there's less law, but yet it seems like there's more cops. If you're in a small town, I'm trying to think of I can't really think of a small town that doesn't have any kind of a police force. In our surrounding areas, we've got Dixon, Lone Grove, Wilson, Ringling, Healton. Those are all several towns. Marietta. Those are all small towns that are around us, and they all have their own police force. So the police force would of course be working within the city limits, but once you get outside of the city limits, it turns into the sheriff's department. So this kind of has some weird pros and cons with it that, like I said, I mean, you end up with a little less law because it's so easy to get outside of the city limits. But there's, I don't know, when you're in Dixon, you can almost, if you better obey the speed limit, stuff like that. So they're definitely out there looking to ticket people for any particular reason. Just be cognizant of that. Not that I've, had an issue. So the next thing is groceries. So some people love the smaller grocery stores. I kind of miss my Kroger's and Fred Meyer's and H-E-B's of the world. But in Ardmore, the biggest grocery store is Walmart. In the smaller towns, you can pretty much bet that you'll have either a Family Dollar or Dollar Tree or Dollar General. Dollar General actually is offering more produce and such here. They've opened up a distribution center outside of Ardmore, so they can provide more fresh produce and stuff, fresh products to their consumers. So as long as you're okay dealing with some smaller thing like that, then it'll be all right. But me personally, I plan a monthly trip to go down to Texas to go grocery shopping. So the closest, if you're into any kind of warehouse shopping like Sam's Club or Costco, you're definitely heading to Oklahoma City or Dallas for anything like that. So there's just simply not enough of a population here, or even in any of the larger southern Oklahoma towns. None of us have anything like that. So groceries, yeah. Obviously food choices, you're going to be starting to get pretty limited on your food choices, but you're in a southern Oklahoma town or any Oklahoma town, you can pretty much bet that you're going to have a Sonic there or a Boomerang Diner. Those are definitely your hot places to check out in your smaller towns. And like I said, it's almost a sure bet that you're going to find one of those in your small town there. I almost hate to bring it up, but dispensaries. There's dispensaries everywhere here. So I've joked about it, but it's a legit thing. You could almost Google towns with a population of 1,000 people and you'll have at least 2 dispensaries in that tiny town. It's just crazy. They're everywhere. They are everywhere. And Oklahoma doesn't even have it for recreational use. It's all for medicinal use. But yet somehow Oklahoma has just gone off the charts with their quantity of dispensaries that they have available. When people say that they're looking to get into that industry, I'm like, have you looked into how much competition you're gonna have? Because there's a lot. There's just a lot. So yeah, be prepared for that your little tiny town's probably gonna have 1, if not 2, 3, 4, just depending on the size, you're gonna have dispensaries there. So yeah. And maybe that's your thing. I don't know. Like I said, this is a pro and con video. So if you're super stoked over that, then you've got availability and probably competition for product there. Something I've always enjoyed about living in the smaller towns is just simply that there's no commuting traffic. I had to commute to Anchorage, Alaska, which, has a population. When I was there, it was just under 300,000 people, but I had to commute there, daily for work, and commuting traffic just sucks. There's just no way around it. I can't stand it. I get it. I mean, I worked the grind, but I got really spoiled when I converted to a work at home job, and I do not miss commuting hour. I don't know who would ever miss commuting hour traffic anyway, but it's really a nice way of life when your commuting hour traffic here is just like having to wait for a couple of light changes. So I really enjoy that even if we do still have, some commuting traffic, but I mean, it's just it's more cars on the road. That's all it is. It's not like any super big inconvenience or traffic jams or gridlock or anything like that. So yeah, less traffic. So something that was super eye-opening to me, especially obviously being a realtor, was that the home prices here are way less than they are in other parts of the country. You can totally get a nice move-in ready home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath for around 250,000. That it's, like I said, it's going to be pretty move-in ready. It might be a little bit dated, but for the most part, you're going to be able to pick up a pretty decent home in that price range. And strangely, you can 100% still buy houses here for under $100,000. However, big time asterisk, they will definitely have some problems. They could be move-in ready, but it just depends on like how flexible you are and your mindset of what move-in ready really is. So there are some cheaper deals out here for homes. So that's a thing. That's a real thing. People in Oklahoma, if you're in these smaller towns, they just kind of go, I'm just going to call it like country time. They just operate on their own clock here. So be prepared for that. So if somebody says that they're going to be here in a bit, I mean, it's really open to interpretation what that means. It could be, 15 minutes. It could be an hour. It could be hours if people say they're going to be here in a bit. You never know. It's very person based. So you kind of got to get a feel for your friends or your family and what exactly they mean by they're going to be here in a bit. So yeah, country time. I don't know what else to call it. Okie time. I'm not sure, but people just run on their own internal clock around here. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say about that. It's I've been to the islands and there was a thing called island time. I almost feel like it's even slower here. But yeah, okay, yeah. If you're driving down the road, you can totally expect to run into possibly a tractor going down the road or a horse going down the road. So just, you want to be very vigilant when you're driving on your country roads here to make sure that when you come over that rise, that there's not something that's super slow moving going down the road with you. It's just, they need a way to get around too. So just be aware that you'll definitely be encountering these kinds of things on the roads here. Something else that's kind of a thing. I never heard of it before, but I've seen it in the paper and I was like, what in the heck did that mean? And then it finally came to me. when you see something in the paper like cow at large, it means that a cow got out. So you'll end up with some stuff, you know, maybe you'll have some livestock on the road too. Maybe you got to wait for a cow to cross. You just never know. There's definitely some country roads that cut through people's ranches and such, and they could be open range. So just, like I said, you want to be vigilant when you're driving around here because you never know what kind of slow things you might be encountering. Football and baseball are a thing here. So Friday night lights, never, where I come from, that wasn't such a thing. It is a super big thing here. So it doesn't matter if you're like 50 years old and you came from Ringling. If you still live in that town, you are very likely still going to those football games just for some good entertainment. They put money into their stadiums here, which I'm really grateful for. I mean, I love that the kids have such a great opportunity to participate in these kinds of sports. But it's definitely a community-wide thing. It's not just a school thing, it's very much a community thing. So it's pretty cool to experience that kind of stuff and see people really just get behind their, you know, alumni or whatever. It's just, it's neat. And like I said, if you're not into football, then it's gonna be baseball or softball. All huge things. And talking about sports, cornhole. Cornhole's a big thing here too. I seriously had never heard of cornhole, and I didn't even know what to expect when I heard the name cornhole. But yeah, people are serious about their cornhole game here. So I didn't realize that a beanbag and a board with a hole in it would drive people to the level of competition that they have here. And yeah, it's serious. And since you're in Oklahoma, you can almost bet that somebody's going to bet on the game because they love to gamble here too. They're serious about some of their stuff around here. So anyway, big thing. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell for me. If you have some other things that you love about Oklahoma and the small town living that it offers here, or maybe you even hate, I'd love to hear from you in the comments section below. Tell me what I may have missed. Maybe it's something I've never even heard of before. I don't know. I'm still kind of newish to the area. So I'd love to hear your favorite takeaways and all of this. But that's what I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. And if you enjoyed this video so much that you want to see this happy, smiling little face every single week, then please be sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. That's what I got for you today. Until the next time, bye.